Hi, guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Vijeta, and today we shall be doing logical reasoning. Last time we discussed how the Anuman or inference in Indian logic is classified into three types, which are Purvavat from cause to effect, Sesavat from effect to cause, and Sambhav by analogy. Now, each type plays a crucial role in the philosophical discourse, allowing scholars to draw conclusions based on observed phenomena and their relationships. The Purvavat inference involves predicting an effect based on a known cause, such as anticipating rain by observing dark clouds. That's your Purvavat. The Sesavat inference, on the other hand, involves deducing the cause from an observed effect, like inferring fire from smoke. And lastly, Sambhava inference is based on analogy or similarity, where one draws parallels between different situations or objects to form a conclusion. Together, these types provide a robust framework for logical reasoning in Indian philosophy. In the Nyaya school of Indian philosophy, Hetu serves the reason for an argument, and Vyapti does not refer to the relationship between the minor term and the major term. Actually, this is the statement 1 question where you have to tell if statement 1 is true or statement 2 is false and all of those kind of things. It's quite interesting also because sometimes people get confused also. See, Hetu, I have actually included the true statements only. And Hetu is the logical reason provided to support a conclusion in an argument, right? Hetu is like the logical thing that you place upon the table so as to prove the argument or support a conclusion. And Vyapti is actually the invariable relationship between the middle term, which is Hetu, and the major term, Sadhya. It was actually written in the statement that it is the minor term, but no, it is the relationship between the middle term, which is the Hetu, and the major term, which is Sadhya, and not the minor term. So you have to remember that. According to the Nyaya system, perception, pratyaksha, is divided into Lokik, ordinary, and alokik, extraordinary perception. Lokik perception involves direct sense object contact, while alokik perception involves indirect contact. See, what happens is the Lokik perception, which is based on direct contact through senses, is like the earthly perception which we humans have. And alokik perception is actually an indirect or extraordinary kind of a perception. When you get into the state of yogic bhava or yogic uh, consciousness, then you can actually perceive, you can experience alokik perception. Pratyaksha Nyaya is classified actually into Lokik and Alokik, which Pratyaksh means perception. So, in the Nyaya system, that is. So, you have to keep that in mind. The Nyaya syllogism consists of 5 parts, which is Pratyajna, Hetu, Udharan, Upanaya, and Nigaman. Upanaya in the Nyaya syllogism is not used to draw a direct conclusion based on previous premises. See, Nyaya syllogism has 5 parts, which is Pratijna, known as proposition, Hetu, which is reason, as we discussed, Udharan, which is example, Upanaya, which is application, and Nigamana, which is conclusion. And Upanaya is not a conclusion, which is it is actually a reaffirmation which links the reason with the proposition before deriving the final conclusion. So, Upanaya is like the reaffirmation. It is the reassurance that, and which actually helps in linking the reason, associating the reason with the proposition, so that the final conclusion can be drawn. So, some people might get confused with Upanaya as being the central thing which is able to draw a direct conclusion based on previous premises. But it is actually just a reaffirmation. So you have to keep that in mind. Small things. Anuman inference is always based on the perception of a pervading relationship, which is Vyapti, between the middle term and the major term. See, knowledge of Vyapti is essential for making a valid inference, which is Anuman. An inference without knowledge of Vyapti is not called Karyanuman. See, Karyanuman, which is inference from effect, still requires Vyapti, which is knowledge, but uses the effect to infer the cause. So Karyanuman actually requires Vyapti. It's not that Karyanuman does not require Vyapti just because it is the inference from effect. It just uses the effect to get to the cause, but Vyapti is still required. So that is why Vyapti is important for Karyanuman. Praman is a means of obtaining valid knowledge according to Indian epistemology. And Praman actually refers to valid means of knowledge in Indian epistemology, such as Pratyaksha, perception, and Anuman, which is inference. The Charvaka school of philosophy does not accept only Anuman as a valid Praman. See, Charvaka school accepts only Pratyaksha, which is direct perception, as valid Praman, and rejects inference, which is Anuman. So you have to keep that in mind. Different schools of philosophy accept different things. So yeah, this has to be remembered. And yeah, Praman is actually the valid means of knowledge in the Indian epistemology, such as Pratyaksha and Anuman. But the Charvaka school accepts only Pratyaksha, which is direct perception, as the valid Praman. And it actually rejects Anuman, which is the inference. So keep that in mind. In Indian logic, Anuman can be divided into Purvavat, Sesavat, and Samanya Tudrasta. It's Purvavat actually. There's a little typo. And Purvavat refers to inference from the past to the future. Actually, Purvavat inference uses the past knowledge, the past experience to predict future events, like guessing that it will rain from seeing dark clouds. A small child who sees a dark cloud for the first time would not infer, would not be able to tell if it will rain. But after some time, when he has observed the phenomena, he will be able to understand that it is going to rain by seeing those dark clouds. And why is that? Because of the experience that he has gained. So Purvavat is actually he's that is what that phenomenon is Purvavat. It refers to inference. Purvavat is the inference which you draw from the past to the future. If you don't work hard, you won't get good results. So that is the inference that you have drawn from your past experience. So that is Purvavat. When you know from the past experience that you won't get good service from a restaurant because you have eaten there already, it's not good, it's not, the food is not well. So that is what it's Purvavat. The inference is Purvavat because from your past experience you know that the restaurant food is not good and expensive. So that is something that you draw from experience, that is Purvavat. Tarka in Indian logic is used to eliminate doubt and establish the truth of a proposition. Tark does not rely on direct perception rather than logical reasoning. See, Tark is employed to resolve contradictions. See, and establish the consistency of a proposition through logical reasoning. And Tark uses reasoning and not direct perception to clarify the truth. Tark is not something that you have perceived something. That is why, yeah, it is true. Tark in Hindi also, it means that something logical, something substantial is presented on the table, on the charts, so as to prove a point, so as to prove the truth of a proposition. So that is why Tark is something that you only relate with logical reasoning, clarity, and truth. So that is Tark for you. Pratyaksh is considered the most fundamental praman in Nyaya philosophy. Pratyaksh does not refer to knowledge gained through inference and testimony. I have put these modernist figures who are discussing Indian philosophy. It's quite I don't know why I just thought it might get into my head more easily when you use absurd, for periodic table you use a song to remember or memorize. So I thought I should just put these figures here who are actually discussing Indian philosophy, which is not actually true. I don't think in the roaring 20s people used to discuss Indian philosophy in parties and all. But who knows? They might have been. Anyways, see, direct perception or pratyaksha is fundamental and primary in the Nyaya school, as we know. And pratyaksha involves only direct sensory experience. It does not involve any kind of inference and testimony. Only what you are feeling. If you feel hot, you can say, oh, it's hot here. The temperature must be like above 30 or 32, 33. If you feel cold, you might be, temperature is less. So, like, pratyaksha is just your sensory experience, nothing more, nothing less. That is what is pratyaksh for you, a direct perception. Tark in Indian logic. Acha, we have done this. I have repeated these questions. Now we come to pratyaksha, which is divided into salvikalpaka, determinate, and nirvikalpaka, indeterminate in Indian epistemology. Nirvikalpaka pratyaksh does not involve conceptual cognition and knowledge of the object along with its attributes. See, savikalpaka pratyaksh refers to determinate perception, where the object is known along with the attributes. Okay? But nirvikalpaka pratyaksh involves indeterminate perception, where the object is perceived or experienced without any conceptual or categorical cognition. So that is nirvikalpaka. Nirvikalpaka is something we are dealing with some abstract concept here. Savikalpaka is very determinate. You know what the concept we are dealing with, what the thing is that we are dealing with. So perception is also divided into these two parts in the Indian epistemology. So you can remember this. The Panchavyava Nyaya, five-membered syllogism, is an essential aspect of Nyaya logic, comprising the elements of Pradeshna, Hetu, Udharana, Upanaya, and Nigamana. Upanaya does not serve as the proposition or thesis that is to be proven in the Nyaya syllogism. See, the Nyaya syllogism has these five parts, and Upanaya is the step that applies the general rule to a specific instance, not the proposition, which is Pratijna. So, Upanaya is actually the step that applies the general rule to a specific instance, and not the proposition. So, you have to remember all of these terms and their terminologies. Sometimes you can get confused with one or the other, and you might think this is the meaning of this term, which is not the case. So, just keep that in mind. In Indian logic, Anuman inference is divided into Swarth Anuman, inference for oneself, and Pararth Anuman, which is inference for others. Swarth Anuman does not involve the five-step process used in a formal argument. See, Swarth Anuman is for personal inference and it does not require any kind of a five-step syllogism. But Pararth Hanuman, on the other hand, uses the formal five-membered structured syllogism for communication with others. So you have to remember this. Pararth means other. Swarth in Hindi we know oneself. Swarth Hanuman is quite informal. You can remember like that because it is for personal use. Pararth is for others, so it's more formal and thus requires the five-step process. In this way, you can remember. Hetu Bhasha are in Indian logic refers to the fallacies of the middle term. There are not four kinds of Hetu Bhasha listed in Nyaya philosophy. Now, Hetu Bhasha are fallacies of the middle term in Indian logic, but there are five types, not four types, which is Savyabhikar, irregular, Viruddha, contradictory, Satpratipaksha, opposed by an equal, Asiddha, unproven, and Badhit, contradicted. Now, Vyapti is the universal relationship between the middle term Hetu and the major term Sadhya. Vyapti is necessary for a valid inference in Indian logic. See, Vyapti is crucial in Indian logic because it establishes that invariable concomitance between the middle and major terms, which ensures the validity, accuracy of the inference. It actually establishes the invariable relationship between the middle and major terms, which is actually important for the accuracy of the inference or the validity of the inference. which is why Vyapti is important. Praman is a means of acquiring valid knowledge in Indian philosophy. And the Jain school recognizes three pramans, which is Pratyaksh, Anuman, and Shabd, is false. It is actually incorrect because the Jain school traditionally recognizes two main pramans, which is Pratyaksha, perception, and Anuman, inference. Sabda or verbal testimony is not considered a separate praman in Jain philosophy. Here in the other book, the Jain school actually recognizes two primary pramans, which is Pratyaksha, perception, as we know, and Paroksha, which is indirect knowledge. And it includes Anuman, Upaman, and Shabda, the indirect knowledge that is. The classification, it is actually a little bit different from the Nyaya school. So these are actually two testimonies from two different books. If you think it is incorrect or want to clarify, comment section is open. The Nyaya school of Indian philosophy was primarily founded by Gautam, and it emphasizes the use of dialectical debates to resolve philosophical disputes. And yeah, this is where we conclude. Actually, not conclude. There are some questions more left for logical reasoning, which I'll do in the other lecture. But this lecture is concluded right here. If you liked the video, please give it a like, share, subscribe to my channel, and I will meet you all in the next video. Thank you.